Hi friends, it's Em and welcome back to another video. Surprise, surprise, I am filming my November recap early. Technically 8 days late, but it is about 24 days early because usually I'm filming this in like January. But November was a great reading month. I read 27 books. So, given the context that there's only 30 days in November, I'm like, that's almost a book a day. Feeling pretty good about that. But I also had just one of the weirdest genre distributions that I've had in a while. I read 10 romance books and 9 fantasy books. It was almost neck and neck in November. Now, part of that, as we know, is because I was completely and utterly obsessed with the Ember and the Ashes series, and still am, still thinking about it, probably on a daily basis. But I was also just catching up on a lot of books, and I love that. I also was doing a pretty good job, if I do say so myself, of reading my arcs, my backlist. It was just a very well distributed month. But let's dive into all of the books that I loved in November, starting with Beg, Borrow, or Steal by Sarah Adams. This book, I screamed when I got it. I immediately started reading it, and it's perfect. Like, as a type A person who, doesn't like to be emotional, tries to sort of like take care of other people before myself, at least emotionally. It felt like she saw me, and it was weird, and it was a little bit creepy at times, but it was fucking fabulous. Great romance book. I also read The Love Lyric by Christina Forrest, which finishes out her sibling series. And this one, it's Angel. We knew Angel was coming back. I was like, give me a smooth R&B singer who is just like so sensitive and lovely, and a single mom. It was great. I really liked how it wrapped up the series. We also did P.S. I Hate You by Lauren Connolly, which was her Berkeley debut. I think she's done like independent stuff before this, but that was like Trad Pub, like the big boy. And this is about I would say estranged. It's a girl and her brother's best friend, and her brother died. And so they meet at his funeral and find out that he has given them sort of like a traveling scavenger hunt that they have to do. That's what he left for them. And it is delightful. It's a riot. It is sad at times because, like her brother is dead and they're grieving. But it was just like really enjoyable. Like this might place in like my top 10 romances that I read this year. I'm just kind of astounded. Then I went back to back with A Sky Beyond the Storm, so wrapping up Ember and the Ashes, and then diving right into Air, which was the right decision on my part. When I say back to back, I mean there was like a little fluffy romance in the middle, but Sky Beyond the Storm, perfect ending of the series, like literally perfect, no notes, apart from just like, the emotional trauma it caused me. But then we go into Air, and so Air is about Zacharias, who is Marcus Aquilas's son. And I mean, it's about a whole lot. There's some mystery, there's political intrigue, there's revolution, there's war. And this is only in book 1. I'm just like, oh. So, if you liked the original series, I feel like you're going to like Air. If you don't want to read the original series, there's going to be a lot of things that don't hit as well for you. And as someone who originally just wanted to read Air and didn't want to read Ember in the Ashes, I'm very glad that I read Ember in the Ashes because 1, it's an amazing series, but 2, it made Air a better book. So there's that. Then I read Beautiful Ugly by Alice Feeney, and this book just like had a hold over me for the day or two that I was reading it. It is about a writer whose wife went missing. He was, hit writer's block immediately, and it's a year, I think it's a year, maybe 3 later, and his agent sends him to a remote island for like a writing retreat. And the island is creepy. And we start getting flashbacks from his wife. And it's so incredibly interesting. It really reminded me a lot of like a little bit of some Black Mirror things, classic mystery, just overall excellent vibes. Then I also read All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. I'm really just going all in on Sabaa Tahir, and this book is so freaking sad and upsetting and angering, rage-inducing, and I loved it. Like, it made me feel things, and that, that alone is a lot. And it just, like, I don't even want to say anything about what it's about. Like, it's YA technically, but I think that a lot of the themes explored are more adult. Yeah, but it's just really, really good. It's really, really good. I loved it. I did it on audio. And then finally, I read First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I initially got rejected for this back in, I don't know, whenever it hit NetGalley, but I got accepted to the Berkeley Influencers program, and this was one of the first widgets they sent, and when I tell you, like, I was screamed, cried, and then immediately downloaded this book. So this is about a radio show in Baltimore called Heartstrings, where the host, normally would give love advice or life advice, and lately he's been extremely jaded. So when a young girl calls in asking for dating advice for her mom, things get a little bit interesting. And so this is all about Lucy and Aiden as, Aiden, really as both of them begin to believe in love again and then fall for each other. But really, this one is definitely on my favorites of romance this year. There's a little bit of recency bias, but overall, it's just freaking so good. My NetGalley stats this month: I did read 4 more than I was approved for, so that brought our number down. We love it. I also definitely went on a requesting spree, so that number is way back up. But it's fine. This is about November, not December. I'm sorry, I have a problem. But November really was a great reading month. I think I want to start tracking the star ratings that I give, so I can see this was the average rating that I gave out in November. I had a little bit of a 4-star slump there, which I know for a lot of people 4 stars are good, and they are good, but I want, if I could pick, I'd be reading 5 stars. So in the comments, leave your best 5-star book reviews or book recommendations so that I can kind of, get some 5 stars in there. And as always, happy planning.